like, whoa, what the fuck? Who the fuck are these guys, right? I think for season 2, where I'm at, I was like, you guys have something here. Why don't we explore some of these characters more in season 2? Because I think back to the question you asked Missy too is like, when you're saying a show going 10 seasons, I think part of the trick is like evolving the show, right? And it starts with characters, really, like how complex, what's the depth of these characters. And I think, I'm talking about Smiling Friends, so it's pretty ridiculous, but these characters are crazy. So I think that was sort of like the note, was like, hey, focus on your other characters.
I like how you all keep saying 10 seasons. I'm not saying 10 seasons, but you say it, and
Somebody
I feel
said
like it
10
manifests
seasons.
You got in
things.
our head. You got in our head about 10 seasons.
My evil plan is working. I like it. So now that we have teed up Smiling Friends season 2, do you all actually want to see some of it? All right, we've got an animatic to show you, so let's roll it. It's so good. That's even better than what I got to pre-screen, because the one I saw had no color at all, but seeing Duncan puke in color was
they
glorious.
spent a lot of time on that color and the vomit. Yeah.
And also, by the way, they were like so excited to show this preview, Zach and Michael, that they wanted it to be as done as possible so that you guys could see as close to the real thing.
It looks good. It plays well in this form. Can you tease when we can expect to see this in the season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think with all of our series, part of the development process is like, we'll start working from 1 to 8 to 9, 10 episodes, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the air order. So I would say it's kind of tough to say, because where they're at, and I think they're also going to have sort of a new perspective on watching the show when it's more done toward the end, so that they can kind of like place it accordingly. But I can tell you that they have a beginning episode and an end episode. They want to stay in the order. So maybe it'll be in the middle. Maybe it'll be.
What about what stage this is at? Can you explain to everybody how much work is left once you hit this point?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the creative is done. Like I've seen a version of every episode. Yeah.
But there's
Okay,
still
I'll take
some
that.
animating to do.
Yeah, like
They're
and
all at
I think
various
we'll get
stages.
here.
Yeah, they're all at various stages, and this show is very. It's this season is trying for a lot of different animation styles in each episode. I would say when you guys say that, so it's near the end. You'll see some next year.
Do I dare press for more? Can you tease other animation styles?
No, think of one. Think of an animation style.
Okay, I believe
Yeah.
that.
It's in there. Yeah.
Another one.
That I can talk about. I have authority, but so there's going to be 3D, 2D. There's going to be stop motion, and there's going to be live action. So they're really excited about. I mean, we're really excited about that being sort of like the interesting point of this show too. Is like how crazy they go with the animation. But this season, I'd say, takes a massive leap with that in mind.
That is an A+ tease. I won't stop trying to imagine what live action will look like, and I guarantee you nothing I come up with will be what you wind up with. Going back to specifically what we saw in that particular scene, I feel like the answer to this question is probably like something along the lines of, duh, why wouldn't we? But why have Pim and Charlie face aliens? What was it about the creative possibilities of that scenario that excited you all?
You know what's funny about that? I'd say internally, Missy, maybe you could speak to this too, but like I don't think we love getting alien ideas because we get alien shit all the time. As a matter of fact, which is cool because it's like a really good in for animation. It makes sense, right? Surreal. I think what we coined this kind of like stuff is Alien on a Surfboard at Adult Swim, because you can imagine the crazy shit that we get in ideas. But I think with them, they're so good at subverting every cliche that it's like you have the entire runway, because it's not gonna, their execution is not gonna be what we expect. They're gonna take this into a completely different direction. So I would love to show you the rest of that episode, but we can't. But just wait, because that one's like one of their favorites because of what happens. So I'll leave it there.
Can't wait to see it. Yeah, definitely applaud for that. All right, to stick with that scene for one more question, Cam, I'm going to put you on the spot creatively because it's mentioned at the beginning of that scene that maybe Glep was the one who was interested in UFOs. Let's say Glep was in that scene. How might he respond to what happened?
Hold on, I'm going to answer that question in 1 second. But the first character that you see with the glasses, does he not sound like Peter Griffin to you guys? Okay, I told him that, and they were like, oh shit, I guess you're right. So that's how close to the stuff they are. But to answer your question, oh yeah, Glep. Glep is, I'm not gonna do an impression of Glep at all, but I'm sure there's someone out here that knows how to do it. But he's like a mature minion. Maybe when we're gonna answer questions later, maybe one of you guys can get on the mic and do it.
Yes, please.
But yeah, he's like I would say a mature minion, and he doesn't say much of anything, but he is weirdly the voice of reason every episode. So I'm looking forward to hearing somebody do this later.
A mature minion, I like that. So we see a couple of encounters with new characters that they have in this particular scene. Are you able to tease any others beyond that? Any new characters that we have to look forward to?
Yeah, you might see the CEO, you might see the landlord, and you might see Mr. Frog.
Here's my biggest burning, smiling friends questions for you right now. Are they ever going to get to go on a real vacation?
Oh, back to Brazil.
Listen, the job comes first over at Smiling Friends, all right? So I don't make the rules, the boss does.
Okay, fine. I'll take that. One day I can dream. So we actually have one other thing that Michael Cusack works on that we're able to tease right now. I believe it might have a little something to do with YOLO's future, Cam?
Yeah. So we're gonna do another season of YOLO. You're the first to know. Shout out YOLO.
It's a perfect image for that. Yeah, you guys have delivered a whole bunch of visuals that are burned in my brain for the rest of my life, and I'm totally fine with that. I welcome them. All right. Does anybody out there know what's next on my list? Wow. Not just yet. Hold on. Something else. Something else. There we go. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Returning for a 12th season. 5 brand new episodes. So given that I just said 5 brand new episodes, Michael, I want to know why specifically 5 episodes?
I can't explain why just 5. It's yeah, well, 5 is the new full season. You've been reading about this trend. No, really, it actually started in this room last year. The guys were up here screening the movie, and I was over there, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to do more seasons." And I was like, "This is it. We live in the same neighborhood. Why are we in New York talking about this?" So when we all got back to Atlanta, we just did a quick thing. We just picked up a quick 5, and we'll see how we're going from there. It's a new pipeline. So the movie set up a new production pipeline, and these 5 kind of came out of that very organically and very naturally. So we're like, let's just do 5 and see what happens real quick. And that's why 5. And I'm psyched. They're hilarious. They're great.
Can you tell us how it is a new pipeline?
Yeah, it's sort of so. The first Aqua Teens were made in Avid mostly and Photoshop, I think, right? Or not even After Effects, I don't think. And so, and over time, more and more assets got added and whatever, but they're always rooted in that really kind of late 90s digital production paradigm. So the movie gave us a chance to invent a whole new production pipeline. And so then these 5 come out of that pipeline. And the guys did an amazing job threading the needle of it, still looking like Aqua Teen, but being a little bit more polished, you know what I mean, for an audience of today. So it's more animated, but still charmingly not fully animated.
I'm gonna ask you one more pipeline question, especially because we are gonna get into Adult Swim's history a little here. What is something about the new pipeline that you wish you could go back in time and tell yourself when you were first starting with Adult Swim?
Well, I mean, it was so like the early days of making shows at Adult Swim were really hard because we didn't have budgets and the digital production tools didn't really exist for that reason. And home movies before Adult Swim was the same. I think they used some kind of CG software for education or something to make that show, right? And so everyone was trying to find ways to do animation in the late 90s, early 2000s. I wouldn't change it actually, because the tone of those original shows were, and the limitations that informed it were so instructive to Adult Swim that you still feel it to this day, I feel like. So I wouldn't go back. I would not.
Yeah, 12-ounce mouse wouldn't be as funny if it were like super
well drawn. Yeah.
This is a very good point. Looking back a little now, can you maybe tell us about Aqua Teen's influence on the history and the growth of Adult Swim? And
oh my gosh.
Maybe also why you think it's still so popular today too, which is something else.
Because it's what we were talking about in development. It's at least 3 great characters whose chemistry works great, or 4, whose chemistry works great together. And you don't need rich animation to convey that, you know what I mean? And Matt and Dave are hilarious writers. They're really quick writers. They have a complete take on the world that is unique and singular. I mean, it's great. So watching these 5, you're all going to be like, oh my God, I'm back. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's not a false step in it. And they've evolved it a little bit, again, in ways that I think are true to what it is, but also for 2023. So I'm just saying words at this point, aren't I?
Those are worthwhile words. We're going to get to that. But first, Cam and Missy, I want to put you on the spot here. I'm going to make you play favorites. I want to know which character in Aqua Teen Hunger Force was your first favorite. And then I want to know if that character has changed over the years.
I like Meatwad. Meatwad makes decisions with the heart, and I like that. And the show wouldn't be the same without Carl, you know. Maybe not my first favorite, but
Carl needs some respect.
I'm also a Meatwad guy, but I think the character probably has maybe evolved the most is Fry, I think. But I think that Meatwad being like such a sensitive sweetheart and also so stupid at the same time is sort of like my favorite style.
Now I feel bad for leaving you out of my game, Michael. What's your first favorite and current favorite?
The Moon and Knights just utterly kill me. And hopefully you guys have seen the movie. Them in the movie is like some of my favorite stuff ever done. Their threats are fantastic. I love them so much.
So we're using Aqua Teen to highlight another thing that launched fairly recently, 2 months ago, I believe. It's Chequered Past. Everyone watching? Yeah. Michael, for that one, why Chequered Past? Why not bring back some of those shows, but in a more traditional returning format?
Yeah, thanks. They for the Cartoon Network 30th anniversary, I think it was last year. Kim Manning and the programming team, they work on both Cartoon and Adult Swim. Thought, let's just bring back the original. So this is going to get muddied, maybe not. Ted Turner bought the Hanna-Barbera library, bought the MGM library, and he said to us, use those libraries. And the programming team at the time wanted to make an original series. And he said, don't. I spent all my money. No originals. And out of that frustration came Space Ghost Coast to Coast, right? Which is the beginning of Adult Swim. Meanwhile, though, I don't know what changed, but something changed. And the first wave of Cartoon Network originals started at the same time. So that's Dexter's Lab and Cow and Chicken, and then quickly Billy and Mandy and all those. And they were coming out of Hanna-Barbera, and Fred Seibert was running that, and Mike Lazo and Rob Sorcher were picking shows, and that was such a good. They had the What a Cartoon program, and there was shorts every week that we would air, and such a great hit ratio. Like the first 3 or 4 series all worked, which is kind of amazing. So for the 30th anniversary, as a stunt, we just were like, let's re-air these, and it did really well. Did well with adult audiences. So Kim and I were like, geez, we should just be bringing these back for more. And then someone at William Street came up with the name Chequered Past, which is just so funny. It's off the checkerboard logo, and it uses the skull is Linda Semensky, who ran programming development for Cartoon Network in those days, is a great doodler during meetings, and she drew that on stationery during one of the meetings. And one of our designers just found it a couple months ago. I was like, I'm going to use this. What is this? And I'm like, oh my God, where'd you find that? So that's now the logo for the thing. And it's doing great. You guys seem to like watching old cartoons on TV, which I get. Yeah, I love it too.
So we love bringing things back, but why package it this way to kind of be the good lead-in to tee up your new material?
It just seems natural. It's all one conversation. Like the way we view running these networks is, oh, people out there like the same stuff we do. And so why don't we put this stuff out there? And it's kind of, in our minds, it's a conversation with you all. And we thought you would love to watch Dexter. Those shows are more mature than probably we thought at the time. We probably ruined your neural pathways back then when you were growing up. And it's all one thing to us and leads in naturally. It has been helping us introduce some new series on Adult Swim. Feels totally natural to us. Even when those originals were made, we didn't think of them as being for kids. We always thought of them as being for anyone who liked animation. And that's where we are now.
Do you guys want to see a little bit of where they are now? Maybe specifically with Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Just a little bit. I believe we have brought a clip to share with you. Love it. All right. So clearly, I think everyone could pick up on this. I love talking about different animation styles. So my first question about that clip is, how did you all determine that that was the best animation style for Shaketopia?
Well, I love that they head fake us so bad. Like you just think you're like that you're with Shake in this new world, and then the jarring juxtaposition of what he really looks like. It's a good public service announcement about VR, I think. Um, like we were saying earlier today, if you're choosing an animation style, it's got to serve the story, right? So I think that everything about that scene is like, oh, it's a cute video game with cute characters and all that, and the idea of it informs the animation style. And these five, they choose a couple different ways into different looks and different styles, but always serving the story.
Are you able to tease any new animation style that everyone can expect to see in these 5 episodes that they haven't
live
seen in
action,
Aqua
I
Teen?
guess. Apparently, we're doing live. No, let me think. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, their budget wasn't that big, so no. There's just different design styles. It's all. I mean, you see from even the scene in the living room, like the background. The normal backgrounds are richer. It just is a little bit richer. The title sequence has been upped a tiny bit, but very much in the spirit of the original one. But no, there's no AI was used. I can promise you that.
Here's a broader, maybe safer animation style question for you. Is there anything left on the animation style bucket list across Adult Swim shows? Anything you've yet to try that you're eager to tap into one day?
Maybe not a style, but we used to kind of have this like in-house rule of like not doing mixed media. And then of course, like especially where like what we do, rules are 100% meant to be broken, and Smiling Friends came and definitely did that. And I think at first we're all just like, man, I don't know, like it's gonna take you out of it and this and that. And then of course, like it doesn't fucking matter. So I don't think we haven't tried a style yet. No, I think we've done, or I think we've done them all.
You've done them all. The industry is always evolving, and you guys swing for the fences. So I have a feeling there will be more in the future.
I think also sometimes we get pitches and the style is to be determined, and we find it and figure it out, and we partner up with other artists and other creatives. And, sometimes, we try on different styles to see how does it impact the comedy or the characters, the dynamic. So, it's a pairing with the writing, I think.
Oh, I'm definitely following up on that. Can you maybe give us an example of a time when you thought a certain style was the right fit for a show, but then you wound up pivoting and now it looks completely different?
So, women wearing shoulder pads initially was going to be pitched as marionettes. And that is no longer what it is. So, initially he took that idea, and then as we tried, how that would play out, would it be distracting? How would it elevate it? We decided to play everything really sincerely, and kind of let the comedy in the craft reveal itself in like organic ways.
Both cool ideas, but stop motion. They look great. All right, back to Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Michael. I have 2 more questions for you on that one. So when season 12 was first announced, I remembered reading a quote that said Aqua Teen Hunger Force for a new generation of fans, which is very exciting. So can you maybe pinpoint something you're doing in these 5 episodes to broaden the fan base, but then also something you are going to uphold to appease longtime fans?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Matt and Dave are so good at talking about, even in that clip that you see the VR stuff, like they're so good about talking about the moment, but not so on the nose that it is horsey, right? So even back, like an early episode that I loved was the banner ad episode, where everything is taken over by banner ads. I don't know if any of you are as old as I am. and that was like, they're great about skewering technology of the moment and skewering society in the moment, or even in the movie it's this kind of a send up of Amazon and things like that. So I think that all the themes and topics are relatable to right this second, and not 1999, 2000, 2001, but with those exact same characters interacting in the ways we've come to expect. So the themes and topics are very relevant to now. And then, as we were saying earlier, it's just easier to watch this now than if you maybe season 2 of Aqua Teen on a streamer or on TV. It's still charming to see those early episodes, and everyone still keeps watching them. You guys are all still watching them. Thank you. But this is just a little bit easier to watch on a giant LCD screen in your house, I think. So.
Looks good. All right. I have a feeling everyone out there is going to want to hear the answer to this last question here, but I think I'm allowed to ask you about guest stars.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Who can we expect to hear?
Yeah, these guys are always great about stunt casting. So, I mean, some amazing voiceover talent that you guys all know. Eric Bauza is coming on this season. Maurice LaMarche is coming. Dan Folger. Let's see who else. A big one is, and I think it's going to help his career because he didn't have a lot of work after the last thing he did. But Brian Cox will be joining. I think that will give him a little. It's good to give him a little bit of work because he was fired off his other show.
Oh.
So, and Gary Anthony Williams, also a big, huge VO talent, is coming. So yeah, it's a great cast, great stunt cast. Enjoy it. It'll be out soon.
Okay.
This year soon. Yeah.
I like soon. You know what else is going to be out really, really soon? Like, as in this Sunday.
What?
New episodes of Rick and Morty.
Oh.
So it's very exciting. You're going to get to see new episodes very soon. But because all of you came here today, we did want to share a little something with you exclusively early. So I think we have an opportunity to watch the beginning of episode 1. Did I do something? No, I'm okay now. Shame on anyone who skips over the opening titles. For this show in particular, but for a lot of your shows. Michael, let's go to that cold open first. Why kick off season 7 with Mr. Poopy Butthole?
We were all worried about him and needed to check in. And the whole episode is about him and making sure he's okay. He's clearly not. He's clearly not okay. No, yeah, because he's known for the epilogues, for the tags. So it is kind of jarring and fun to see him at the top. But I mean, I think that's what's great about this series is the writers Dan and the writers just keep us on our toes and keep us guessing, but with continuity throughout. It's really an achievement, I think.
Definitely going to come back to the idea of keeping you guessing. But first, I want to ask you a question about the opening credits. And I have a feeling you might get asked every once in a while. What is the process for choosing those specific clips? And is there one in this batch that you are most excited about?
Oh, well, most of those are made up and will never show up anywhere. I think the consensus is everyone's most excited about Ripped Jerry, I think. I personally love the idea of skiing on your tongue. But I mean, and weirdly, Aqua Teen's open is the same, where there's things in it that you'll never see actually in the series at all. So I know Rick and Morty 100 years, maybe we'll see all of these. I don't know, at some point. But it's just to be fun. And imagine that there's a list somewhere of possible things that could go in the open, that people add to. And over time, some end up there and some do not.
I'll put you on the spot. Is there any one over the years that is like stuck in your mind that one day you really want to make it an episode?
Well, yeah, my relationship to the guys is not to call them and go, you got to do the monster at the end. But I would love if they did the monster at the end.
I think everybody wants that.
I think that's the last episode. That would be great. But I'm not going to force them. Maybe I will. I don't know. Should I? No. I won't be around to force them. It'll be some other guy.
You're going to be at Adult Swim forever and ever. Remember,
years.
We need 10 seasons of every show.
I know.
All right, I want to go back to the idea of not just them keeping you all on your toes and surprised with each new season, but now for the audience too, because we've seen these characters go through quite a bit.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of like up your game in season 7? What can we expect that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, again, I think that these guys are so good at doing standalone Rick and Morty adventures and serving canon. So there is some good canon in this season. I think for the canon minded, it's great and you'll love it. And season 7 sees whole new characters and new worlds actually that we haven't seen. So kind of about mid-season, we're going to see stuff we've never seen before. And they also do it. So it's once you have, we call it servicing the characters. Once you have a certain number of characters, you start to feel responsible for servicing them in each individual episode and or across the season. And this season is really balanced in terms of bringing some fan favorites back, servicing canon, and still servicing the core dynamics and watching Rick evolve and all of that. So I'm not going to give particulars, but there's enough peanuts in the Snickers bar for everybody in this season. Yeah. And there's a great episode about spaghetti.
Enough peanuts in the Snickers bar is something I will repeat casually. I am going to press you for a little more information in that character department, though. Whether it's a character we haven't seen in a while or even one of the main ensemble members, is there any particular character that I guess pops more in season 7 than you ever could have imagined?
You might see Mr. Poopy Butthole again, maybe, and you'll see the CEO of Smiling Friends. Go, what do you got?
No, yeah, you also might see Squanchy.
Yeah.
You also might see Bird Person.
Oh.
And you might see Gearhead. I don't know. That's about as much as I could tease, but I like the old gang. The gang is back.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid list right there. I feel like I need to be satisfied with that for now. Michael, big old, history question.
And we know Water Tea is coming back, right? You all know that because yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, another thing we could touch on too is like what I mentioned earlier about like characters evolving. I think Rick as a character has like tremendously evolved. Like
Totally.
I think that's the trick to getting the 10 season order. But like, you know, I think Rick now is very, very multidimensional. He's not just an asshole, and I think like that's a kind of a big factor that's changed over the last few seasons, and even more so in this one.
Wait, Missy, to loop you in on this, can I ask you the same question I did earlier? Who was your favorite Rick and Morty character to start, and which character has grown on you at this point more than you ever could have imagined?
Well, I'm remembering this season has some fun moments with Summer, who I personally live for. But yeah, you know, this season we're in the neighborhood, and so I feel like there's some neighbors again that we like to see. But this Summer for me is always making me laugh in new ways.
I like that. Michael, so many years with Rick and Morty, doing so many wild things. Can you tease something you do in season 7 that would make, I guess it's 2012, 2013, you seeing the first season come together, go like, my God, I can't believe we'd be able to do that with this show one day?
Oh, okay. Yeah. This will make no sense right now. The spaghetti episode, just seriously, just watch it. It's a thing that no other show could do, and done well. So I put it with Vat of Acid and the Pickle Rick episode in my mind, the spaghetti episode.
Okay. Can you tease maybe roughly when we'll see the spaghetti episode?
This year. So I think this is the first. I don't have the programming calendar in my head, you guys. So we start Sunday, and this is, I think, the first time we're doing 10 in a row by the grace of the universe. Yeah, 10 in a row this year. 10 in a row, baby. And thank you to the Rick and Morty team, our internal Adult Swim production team, the development team. Like, it took a lot to get here, and I'm really proud of all of us. Sorry, just to be dad again. Like it was hard to get here, and there's 10 episodes, one every week. You guys, 10 in a row. It's great.
Wait, can I ask you to be dad even more? This is a question that I love asking because we're lucky enough to get to see the three of you on this stage, but there are so many people that work on these shows that we love watching over and over.
Yeah.
Can each of you maybe name an Adult Swim unsung hero?
Oh, wow,
someone
fantastic.
on the, I mean, there's many people deserving of this honor, but maybe highlight one name that we don't know and tell us how they contribute to the creative process.
Wow, fantastic. Should I start and give you time? Would it be bad if I named some departments too, or no? And then you can. So look, you may not know this. The legal team, the finance team, the programming team. Kim Manning is like a long-time Adult Swimmer and Cartoon Networker, and she is an amazing source of good in the universe. The production team, and then the comms team who are here helping us with this and helped all year with lots of things. My one, I mean, it's hard to call out one person, but
I would say this is the development team, and then who's not here is Jordan Askins and Lorenzo Adams, and Jordan's been part of the team for 6 or 7 years, and so you know, we all get to work on everything, and it's nice that, you know, Adult Swim's team is small, but we're mighty.
Cam, who you got for us?
No, I mean the operation is humongous, and it's not just like, you know, us here. I think there are producers on each respective show that like kill themselves to put these things together. I can name a million people, but let's just say that like in front of the camera is always considered sexy, but I think the sexiness is behind the scenes because the people are really, really doing the most amount of like late night sort of clock. I can't say that either, but I'm going to stop it there.
I always like an opportunity to remind everyone that there are very many talented human beings who make these things we love dearly. I'm going to ask one more question, then we're going to toss it to you all in the audience. And Remember, we need a GLEP impression, so I hope someone at the mic is going to do that.
Or orange hoodie over here, I think.
Okay, we're going to come to you in a moment. Michael, one last question here about Rick and Morty, because when the trailer was released, it was said that Adult Swim would not be releasing the names of the new cast members before the show premiered. Can you tell us a little bit about why you made that decision?
Yeah, it's we want you guys to watch the show as the show, and you'll read their names and may or may not know who they are. It's sort of, at this point, not the point. I think over time, you'll grow to love these actors, and they will be the point. But right now, they're just getting the show out is the point. Yes.
So a lot of questions.
Lots of questions.
A lot of questions. We will start on this side right here. Hello, what is your name?
Mia.
Hello, Al. What's your question?
I want to ask something about Chequered Past.
Yeah.
What other shows you're planning to bring on Chequered Past, since it's a total success?
Thank you. It is. Thank you for watching. We're sticking with these 4 for right now, but as you know, there's many we could do. But we're going to go slowly. There's lots of reasons. But don't worry, keep watching. And if people keep watching, we'll have to add more shows. So thank you.
Yeah, because people love them.
I know. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We're coming this way now.
All right. First, I want to say,
There it is.
Well done.
Thank you.
I can also do, oh, geez, I'm so excited for Season 7. And I'm excited for new Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And yeah, I just watched Metalocalypse and it is brutal. Yeah.
Wow, make some noise for this.
Good job.
Yeah, I just want to ask, how do you pick voice actors in for your show? So I'm always wanting to be a voice actor, and I want to work at Adult Swim someday.
Absolutely. Okay, the best way to do it is make a demo MP3, basically,
Okay.
of maybe existing voices, but also your own.
Okay. Yeah.
Show acting range, not just the ability to imitate,
Right.
and then shop it around. Unfortunately, you've got to get on casting. If you're repped by someone, most likely in Los Angeles versus New York, you'll get sent around to audition virtually. So you need someone to rep you. And I'm sorry to give you that answer, but it's true. Going directly to studios or networks is not likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not giving up, though. Also,
No, don't give up. All
yeah,
right.
also, my favorite character in Rick and Morty is Jessica, though I just wish there was more
yeah.
of her, like there, because she's a less toxic character. And
Yeah. You'll see
Yeah.
some of her.
What's your name, friend? Give yourself a shout out.
my name is Patrick, and
Patrick.
I'm from
Hi, Patrick.
Boston.
Job
Hi,
well done.
Boston.
Very talented.
Thank you.
All right, we're coming this way now. What's your name and your question?
Hi, my name is Matthew. I've got 2 quick requests and a serious question. One, please give us a new season of Frisky Dingo. Please.
I don't think the guys want to, but okay.
Okay. Please give us more interdimensional Cable. And my more serious question is, given the advent of premieres that are like first on stream and on the air, like simultaneous airing, and how the streaming model has changed the way that shows get created and get greenlit. You know, you said shorter seasons, different production pipelines. How has the streaming bubble changed the way that you greenlight animation, especially for independent animators and people without the pedigree from existing big productions?
It's not pedigree. We're not. It hasn't for us a little bit. Like you just saw women wearing shoulder pads, right? So we're still greenlighting things that are new and different and new IP and not, but it's a different calculation of how many do you make, and when do you make decisions about more. That's what's changed. But the initial greenlight, I think, is still pretty much the same. It's has the person exhibited some ability to run a creative project? Do we like it? And is the material in a good enough place? That hasn't changed really for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, who do we got on this side here?
Name's Oscar with the Deli Meat, and just like Academy Award, I'm always nominated for everything, and I'm golden.
Great. Great to meet you, Oscar.
Yeah, so this is GLEP.
That's very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Oscar.
That's great, Oscar.
Job well done, Oscar. You want to
Keep
throw
them
in a
coming.
question?
Huh?
You want
Keep
to
them
throw in a
coming.
question?
I can't really do anything.
No, it's fine.
Do you want to ask
Do you have
a
a question, Oscar, or just a glep?
I do have one question. I'm hoping he's still interested in this. It's been a while since I've seen the show, but is Mr. Yanni Tartakovsky ever gonna bring back Symbionic Titan?
He's so busy on Primal and other stuff, and and we just aired Unicorn, and Unicorn was great. I don't know. I never say never, but that was a Cartoon Network show too, by the way. That was a younger skewing show, yeah. But we'll see. What? All right. Thank you.
Wouldn't it be funny if
Oscar.
we just got all Glep impressions and
I
no
know.
questions?
What's your question?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I have another Glep impression.
Oh, great.
No.
No, good.
You guys were talking about pitches earlier. I promise I'm not up here to do one. I just wanted to ask if there's any advice or something like that to get into pitch rooms and stuff like that. If there's any resources or something to be able to get into those sorts of rooms as a creator or writer or something like that.
Yeah, generally, like we're just reaching out to people. Like I was a fan of Michael Cusack's shorts, Damo and Daryl and YOLO, and I just emailed him. Like that's kind of how we work here because I think like we do, a pretty unique thing. So I would say keep making stuff. Use the internet to your advantage. I mean, part of the reason why Smiling Friends has a community is because of you guys. Like rooted for it on Newgrounds and on YouTube. So I would say the internet's your friend. Make stuff. And eventually people, I mean, there's a lot of people like us that do what we do that are looking for special talent. And so just keep doing your thing.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Who do we have over here now?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, my question is, I know earlier, I believe it was this year, you guys screened Ballmaster's Rubicon.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. So my question is, do we have hopes for a season 3 or?
Not currently. We're not thinking about Ballmasters, but we love to work with creators over and over again over time. So, we'd love to see what Christie's got next or what other things he's doing. So yeah, and we were glad to put out Ballmasters, but there could be another new thing. So yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. All right. Name and question, please.
Hi, my name's Jimmy, and just hearing you guys talk, I didn't realize until I was older, just how unique Adult Swim was when it came on the scene. I was middle school, high school, and didn't realize it wasn't always there. And you guys just seemed to be able to get away with things on a television that was so authoritative that I don't know how you guys did it, but thank God you did. What sort of places have you seen that are out there now that kind of have that punk rock scrappiness of people just starting out that, now that you guys are hitting 30, that, you're seeing as kind of the edge of things?
I don't see them. I feel like we were lucky we were in a moment of time where there was a business model that worked and we could take chances. And right now it seems to be one or the other. So that when you asked what my job is, I should have said that's my job. My job is just making sure that it can still be what it is mostly. I don't. Do you see anything? Is there anything you can point to that I'm missing?
It's the same thing with the internet. It's
too diffused.
It used to be diffused, but now it's
Yeah.
so walled garden. I
Yeah.
want Newgrounds and weird internet back where you just find things.
Yeah.
I mean, things like where Rick and Morty came from.
Something will emerge, but I don't think I can't point to it right now.
All right,
Can
thank
you?
you. No,
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a lot of people that try, but I think we're staying true to what we do, and I think it's just at this point we're just making shit up. You know what I mean? There's really no recipe.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're coming back to this side. What is your name and question?
Hello, my name's JP, and my question is, what is it like in terms of programming, scheduling that lets you choose which program that we get to air? Recently, we're now getting the Disney era of Bob's Burgers on Adult Swim. And yeah, on the other hand, we have yet to see J.G. Quintel's Close Enough on Adult Swim.
Yeah. So a lot of it, weirdly, is like different finance rules. There's all this legal stuff and finance rules and all that. And so there's a lot before something gets on air, there's so much work and so much conversation. So it's not that we're idiots and we're trying to punish you. We're generally trying to work things through. So all of that, is rights to different seasons, how many times you can play a certain thing. There's all kinds of stuff behind it that would bore you. But it's not just, we're not doing it to make you mad. I promise.
Thank you for your question.
Really good question, by the way.
That well reflects the value of the legal team. See, they were well deserving of a shout out. All right, name and question over here now.
Stanley, and my question is, since a lot of, with shows like My Adventures with Superman and Unicorn Warriors Eternal, I'm noticing Adult Swim's going more into general audience, younger audience programming. I'm wondering, in terms of pitches or new shows, are you looking for virtually anything? It can be a kid show, it can be an adult show, it could be something very mature, crazy, or raunchy like Rick and Morty, but also something that's kind of peaceful and kind of more what's the word, peppy, like My Adventures with Superman. I'm just wondering, are you expanding that, what the shows you're looking for in the shows you'll air?
With Cam said this earlier, with the expansion of how many hours, remember Adult Swim used to be 10 p.m. on. It used to be a late night block. Now it's on at 5. So with the expansion of the hours, we've expanded the types of shows we're looking at. So earlier in the evening are more general audience shows, but still the mission is best in animation and the best stuff out there, chance taking that you can do. It might not mean F-bombs all the time. That's later in the night. So you've noticed it. You've got the right read. You're right. Thank you.
All right, next up on this side.
Hi, name's Dion. I just wanted to thank you. Been watching since the jump. When the adults were actually going in the pool.
Yes.
At that time. So.
Yes. I hope that scared you.
No,
the old people swimming. Yeah.
It weirded me out. But
Yeah.
It didn't really scare me all that much. But I just wanted to thank you for all that. I've been enjoying even the in between the bumps. I wanted to thank whoever do those.
That's it.
The landscapes. I always like to play Where's Waldo to try and look for the AS.
AS, yeah.
So I just wanted to say that I appreciate that, and I'll be forever grateful for you giving a chance for Gilbert Gottfried to basically do some voices on Smiling Friends and the
Royal Crackers. Yeah.
So I'm eternally grateful for that. So yeah.
Thank you.
So my question is, all the things that in your careers that you greenlit, which show that you're actually really proud of that basically came out so far?
Oh boy.
Picking your favorite child.
I have a special relationship to Joe Parrott Talks With You. That was something that happened just very, very organically. And, it started from Talks You to Sleep, which was essentially an infomercial or a 4 a.m. It's a short. And then it kind of evolved into a special, and then it became, a series. And I think that one was really special for me personally, but just because it was very close to it. I met Joe in a coffee shop literally around the corner here. Oh. And, kind of developed the show over the course of a few years, which is special.
Good answer.
I know I've talked a lot about women wearing shoulder pads already, but anytime, we get to do something for the first time, there's a lot of experimentation that can happen. And we got to really think about each question because we were going into a new territory as a development slate, taking on another language. And so I'm really excited to launch that Women Wearing Shoulder Pads later next year, and for it to find audiences, beyond our, English speaking fans.
And for me, I had something to do with Flapjack getting done for Cartoon Network. And why I'm proud of it is because it took courage to say yes to that show. On the face, it's why am I saying yes to this? It's going to terrify children. But I feel that we did the right thing. So that's my answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great question.
Thanks.
All right, what's your name and question?
Hi, my name is Ken. I guess I kind of have a two-parter. what's like a big red flag when someone's doing like a pitch?
Big what? Say it
like a
again?
big like something that's like a red like where it's like, okay, this is a problem. We can't go forward with this. And I guess this is two-part. Forgive me. Kind of similarly, would you ever consider someone with checkered past like having